Who here has ever woken up in the middle of the night and thought, I wonder what the work of a beginner dioramicist looks like? I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep until I find out. Well, guess what? You're in luck because that's what this video is about. Welcome everybody back to Castle Nerd. This is officially my second video. And unfortunately, it's not going to be winning any Oscars or Emmys for film or content or editing. But what it is going to do is it's going to show you my first three attempts after discovering this pink foam diorama world. Really, my only goal for this video is to kind of document and put out these first three projects, not to kind of wow anybody, but just to kind of show where I got started, and hopefully to kind of show where I got started and the progress that I'm going to be making, hopefully over the next couple of years as I hopefully get better. That's the goal. All right, so just like the first episode of a Star Trek show, let's see where this all got started. This was my first attempt at using foam or carving foam ever after seeing that video from Small World Workshop and what he did with it. I was blown away. So I had to give it a shot myself and went and got a piece of pink foam and carved this little stone wall. Added some little weeds from the backyard to kind of give it some perspective. So this was the second piece I ever did. Basically, I found a picture online of an old wall, old stone wall, and I wanted to create that. My intention was to only do the wall because this was all new to me, and I just wanted to see if I could do it. But once I did the wall, it felt like it was something missing, and I couldn't just leave it the way it was. So I decided to create a base along with some type of scenery, terrain, diorama type of stuff. When I started working on this project, I had no intention of doing anything with it. Filming YouTube videos definitely wasn't something that was even on my mind. So unfortunately, I had some very random and sporadic video clips of me building it. I'm not even sure why I took them. But I do have some things, and I'm going to show you those as I kind of talk through them on my own, and we'll see where we go from there. At this point in my diorama career, I was not familiar with the static grass and the electric device that you use to put static grass on. So I was trying to find something else, and I found this peat moss that's basically glued to this incredibly sticky stuff. It's actually quite horrible. It gets on your knives and scissors and doesn't want to come off. But I thought maybe it could make for some interesting grass it's kind of perfect looking in terms of the color. So I thought maybe if I could darken it up and make it look dead in spots, make it look more natural. I also wanted to add some dirt. And here, this is just a sample. I was using some type of paste and painting it. Eventually, I end up using actual dirt from the backyard. Now that the stone wall is glued to the base, I'm trying to plot out a plan of action to figure out what I'm going to do next. And I figured I wanted to make it look like, because it was an old stone wall, obviously it would be crumbling and bits of the stone would be laying all around the base, all around the edges. And so that was the next step. So basically I took a lot of little pieces of foam, kind of cut them up into rock-like shapes, and then painted them so they looked like they actually came from the wall itself. And I wanted to just kind of place them strategically around the base, basically kind of pile them up on one end, kind of the left end of the wall, and then go from there. Now here are all the finished pieces of rock that I'm going to be laying around the base when I get to a more finished stage. And what I was thinking to myself at this point was how just blown away I was that this foam could look like rock. Just amazing. At this point, I was ready to create a template for that moss grass to put it on the base. and I couldn't think of a better way of doing it. So basically I put down some tape that covered the whole area, and then I was going to draw on it the outline of where it was going to go, and then I was going to take off that piece of tape, cut it up, and then put it on top of the moss, draw that line on top of the moss, and then cut the moss so I could then lay the moss grass down on the base here. So now I've got the template for the moss. I'm just going to lay this directly on top of the grass, trace it with a Sharpie, and then I'm just going to cut it out and kind of lay it down in one piece. However, let's talk about this moss grass stuff. I think I mentioned earlier about the tackiness. It's on some kind of unreal alien-made adhesive. It's kind of gummy. It's more gummy than it is gluey, but the stuff is unbelievably sticky, and it gets on your scissors and your knives and doesn't come off. You have to use acetone to get it off. One of the tricks I found was that if you put the moss actually in the freezer for about 5-10 minutes, the adhesive, glue, gummy stuff, whatever it is, will harden up, and it will give you about 20 to 30 seconds of cutting time, where it cuts more like a piece of paper than it does some super glue stuff. And then when you cut it, need some more, put it back in the freezer and take it out, cut some more. So it's kind of an ongoing process. Now the template has been cut out, so I'm going to go ahead and lay that onto the moss. I'll trace it with the Sharpie so I can cut it out, and again I'll do it so it's cold, and then that way it makes it a little bit easier to cut. Once I had the grass down, I then put some dirt in the blank areas and along the edges where the grass was. I basically just got the dirt soil mixture from my backyard. So here is the completed project for the diorama. Now I thought I was done at this point, but within a couple of months, the pine tree like things you see in the back left side and the one that you see in the right front. Now I didn't know that fake trees, plastic trees could do this, but those two actually died on me. The needle started falling off and the trees themselves went from a green to a whitish color. So I'm thinking, I can't leave it like that, so let me try to figure out how to replace them. So I went on to YouTube and tried to find some videos on how to create fake trees. So this was my first attempt at making a tree. Basically what I used was some of the artificial plants and trees that I had bought, and I used the stems of them to kind of create the trunk, as well as the branches that were coming off, but they were kind of flimsy because they were plastic. So I decided to wrap them in floral wire to give them a little bit more shape and strength. And then this way I would add on top of that, I would add DAS air drying clay so I could create the texture and the shape of the actual tree that I wanted. I feel bad that none of these video clips actually show me doing any actual relevant work. It's all showing the final process. Here again, this is after I put on all the DAS air dry clay onto the trunk, texturing it, building it up. I used, the way I got the texture on the tree trunk and on the branches is I took a wooden dowel and I cut grooves into it, kind of like around the width of it. And when the wood had these textured channels in it, I would kind of roll it along the clay, and it would create these vertical marks in the clay to kind of give it that good old-fashioned bark texture. After painting the tree black, I then went in with your typical brown for a tree. One of the interesting things about trees, though, is that the majority of them are not brown. they're kind of a grayish color, different shades of gray and black, depending on the state of them, but not brown. All right, I'm sorry. Once again, I have absolutely no video of me creating the leaves that you see here that were put onto the branches. It just wasn't something I filmed. Basically what I did was I used artificial plants and flowers from the hobby store. I liked the way they looked, and so I kind of trimmed them, cut them, glued them on the edges, and then super glued them onto the actual branches of the tree. And here is the end result. This was my third project. I found this picture online. I'm thinking that's kind of cool to be able to make a stone archway doorway with a wooden door. I thought that'd be kind of cool to make. But again, it didn't dawn on me to make a more comprehensive base and an environment to it. I was really just focused on practicing and learning and just kind of doing that door frame in general. But ultimately, it ended up that I realized I needed to do a lot more than just the door frame. Again, sorry for not showing any of the carving or painting process. I promise to do better. I think at this point, what I was blown away by still, and even to this day, is how it looks like real stone. That just is the most intriguing thing to me in this whole process. This is just a quick shot of the plan that I had for the wooden door and metal hardware. If I had a teacher, I don't think she'd be happy with right now because I did not show any of my work going forward. Everything here is going to be almost a finished product. Here you can see the door frame, the door, the metal sconces, the ground is all put together at this point. The door is balsa wood. The ironwork is cardboard that was painted to look like steel. The metal sconces or torch brackets on the outside were black polymer clay that were fired. I drilled holes in those so then I could run some wires to actually light up the flames that are in the torch brackets. One of the things I've noticed so far with this diorama business is that when you buy things online, unless you can touch them and feel them beforehand or you've had experience with them, you don't really know what you're going to get. I was looking for ivy and vines, and I did find this product from Warm Tree, and it was nice. But the vines themselves were more like real thick branches, and they kind of broke when you bent them, which is the exact opposite of what I wanted. I wanted vines that were flexible because I wanted to be able to wrap them around the parts of the door frame and the door so it looked like that was being enveloped or, kind of like sucked in by these vines. I saw online that someone had once used jute rope to create vines, and so I went and bought some, kind of pulled it apart into smaller strands, dyed those strands, or I dyed them, but kind of soaked them in watered down brown burnt umber paint, just kind of darken them up a little bit, and then I thinned them out a little bit. I used this watered down PVA glue to kind of saturate the smaller strands of the rope and to kind of give them that viney look to them where I have little offshoots coming around. And the glue hardened it up a little bit, so it made it a little bit more rigid, but it made it flexible as well. And then I could use these pieces to then actually glue onto the model and then attach the ivy leaves somehow. In this shot, you can see the jute vines that have been attached to the door frame. At this point, I still haven't quite figured out how I was going to do the ivy leaves though. My solution to the ivy leaves is that I found some artificial plants that had leaves almost small enough to the scale that I wanted. I did end up trimming them down with scissors, so that was a lot of work, and kind of did some touch up with paint, adding a little bit of yellow and browns here and there. But then I put them on top of the vines that I had created, and this is the result. So now I've created 2 dioramas, 2 trees, and I put both of them on the left side of the diorama. I'll leave that for you to analyze. This tree was not made from scratch. I basically found the trunk and the branches part and ended up creating the roots out of some air hardening clay. This diorama was also extended on the left from the original piece. You can see the line where I kind of added everything to the left. I was trying to put a tree in there, and I didn't think there was any way I could just jam a tree in behind that wood bench, so I ended up having to add on the whole other section. Now I built a little hill, a little rocky hill for the tree to sit on. I ended up using some real rocks. I found some of the ones in there on the left that were kind of yellowish white. I ended up painting them gray so they would match the rest of the foam rocks that I had in there. I kind of wanted to place them around the tree area. Here I made several sections of some deteriorating fence out of balsa wood. I placed them around the perimeter of the diorama to kind of like bring it in a little bit. Here I added some flickering LEDs in order to make the torches on the wall kind of have that fire look to them. Again, because I had no intention of ever doing a YouTube channel building dioramas, I really had no reason to film any of this stuff, but now I'm regretting not filming almost hardly any of it. There's a lot of steps in here that I thought were kind of cool, a lot of things that I learned, a lot of things that I messed up on while doing that I thought would be important to kind of know now. But unfortunately I did not, so hopefully I'm going to get it next time. The things that fascinate me about these dioramas is making things that are not real look real. That's my ultimate goal, is to make things look as realistic as possible. If you found any of this somewhat interesting, I would love it if you would subscribe. That would be awesome. I do plan on having bigger and better stuff to come, so please stay tuned.